Germany is home to so many familiar stories. Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Hansel and Gretel, the Pied Piper, stories we all grew up with. Stories Disney turned into movies. But here's the thing, those aren't the real versions. The Brothers Grimm collected these tales from German folklore in the early 1800s, and the originals, they're dark, like really dark. So we decided to drive over 600 kilometers to see the real places these stories came from. Towns where children mysteriously disappeared, forests where people genuinely got lost and died. We're walking through the towns straight out of the pages, hiking in the Black Forest.
Welcome to the Black Forest. So you hike 3.5 miles up, 3.5 miles back, but halfway through the hike, when you get there, you get to buy delicious blueberry pancakes.
And ending at the castle that inspired every Disney movie you've ever seen. And along the way, we're gonna tell you what actually happened in these stories. Hey, I'm Chris, that's Sarah, and we can't forget Kramer. And before we get too far, we wanted to say a big thanks to MusicBed for partnering with us on this video. We'll talk more about them in a minute, but just know if the music in our videos has ever made you feel something, it probably came from them. And like all good stories, we need to start at the very beginning.
Our story starts right now, right here.
Bremen. I'm trying. Bremen is how Google Translate told me to say it.
Bremen.
So we are driving this fairy tale road, and technically if you're driving it, it's we're going the opposite way. Technically a lot of people end here, but we're starting here.
Well, we started in Hamburg, so we're going north to south along the route, and we're gonna go Hamburg to Frankfurt, and then we're still gonna see more than just that of Germany. But today we're in Bremen. It's a little bit rainy, very muggy. I'm sweating a little bit.
This town is famous by one story by the Brothers Grimm, and it's called...
The Town Musicians? Is that what it's called?
Basically, it's 4 animals. We'll explain about it here in a minute.
Okay, let's just dive into the story. 4 animals, a donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster, and they're all about to be killed by their owners for being old and useless. Man, we've all been there. The donkey can't carry grain anymore, the dog can't hunt, the cat can't catch mice, and the rooster, well, he's Sunday dinner. They meet on the road and decide to become musicians in Bremen. But here's the thing, they actually never make it to Bremen. On the way there, they find a cottage full of robbers, so they stack on top of each other, donkey on the bottom, dog on his back, and cat on the dog, and rooster on the top, and they scream through the window. The robbers think it's a monster and run away, and the animals move in, and they live there for the rest of their lives. That's the end. So yes, the town musicians of Bremen never actually went to Bremen, but you don't have to tell the tourists who are rubbing the donkey's nose.
You can hear the bells going off right now, but this is the center. Here, you can see the statue of all 4 animals, and apparently it is good luck to rub the nose of the donkey, which a lot of people are doing right now.
I'm more excited about the bells. The bells are gorgeous. It's about to be noon. And they've been going off for over a minute now. It just sounds so pretty, doesn't it? It's gorgeous. I read that this manhole, there's a coin slot in it, and they say if you put a coin down it, you can hear the musicians, which is the animals, sing. I don't know what I'm expecting to hear, but apparently the money collected in it goes towards a local charity to help locals, so we're gonna try it. I guess that's it. That's funny. He's so confused now. That's very cute. They call it the fairy tale route for a reason. Every town feels like a story with winding roads, tempered rooftops, a little bit of magic around the edges. When we're filming, we're always chasing what we're feeling. We know you can't smell, taste, or touch what we're experiencing, but maybe we can make you feel what we're feeling. What it feels like to walk through a forest. To hear church bells echo through the valley. To sit in silence inside a crumbling castle. And when we get home to edit, our job is to take that feeling and help you feel it too. That's why we use MusicBed. Every video on our channel is built with their music, not just because it sounds good, but because it helps us translate what we've felt in the moment, letting you experience and connect with it just like we do. We search by mood, by instrument, even by artists we already love, like Ben Rector, Johnny Swim, and Judah and the Lion. And their song search feature lets us drop in a reference track and find songs with the same energy. It's made finding the right song way easier and honestly, way more fun.
Every single video that you have seen on this channel has MusicBed in it. We love MusicBed. So if you want to start creating today and get your 14-day free trial, go ahead, scan the QR code right here on the screen, or you can click the link down in the description. Music isn't just the background noise, it's a part of the story. So thanks for partnering with us, MusicBed. We love you guys. We are thankful that we can use it on a video like this.
And about 180 kilometers south of Bremen, we finally pulled in to our next town. And this place is obsessed with the rats. Like really obsessed. They're on buildings, they're on street signs, they're souvenirs, they're everywhere because this is Hamelin, home of the Pied Piper.
If you're not familiar with the story of the Pied Piper, really quick summation of it is the local rat catcher caught the rats in town and then the people didn't pay him. So he came back and played a song and led the kids out of town and kidnapped them. Is that right? I mean, the guy looks so happy playing his little pan flute, the little statue, but I'm like, my mouth was like, I was all prepped and ready for something sweet from a bakery. Because Chris said, oh, they make sweet treats into the rat shape. And he said something about marzipan, and then he said something about a bread. And I was like, I don't care what it is, as long as it's got carbs, I'm sure I'm gonna love it. So Chris goes into the baking shop. I sat outside with Kramer, and then he came back with this. I was like, well, isn't that just adorable? And then he said, you can't eat it. It's not to be eaten. So my question is, why did you go into the bake shop and only come out with this? If you knew this wasn't edible, why didn't you get me something sweet?
I'm sorry. Show them the...
Quit.
Pick it up. And
Oh,
show
sorry.
Let the kids see it.
No, Kramer wants it. It's really funny. Look at this little, they did like, oh, that's funny.
So it's handmade.
So it's handmade, and they're the only guys in town who do this. We went in there thinking it was edible. It's not, but that's okay. Funny little souvenir, rats and kidnappings. But the town is lovely.
We're currently downtown, and it's Friday. There's a festival setting up, so they're looking like they're about to party for the whole weekend. But we're here for something special because we're in the town of the Pied Piper. The glockenspiel, which technically isn't really a clock, comes out right here, and we're going to show you here in a minute. But this building actually got damaged during World War II, and then in 1964, after everything had calmed down, they were like, hey, we need to repair this building. Let's put some chimes in, let's repair the chimes. But right up here, you'll see it. The Pied Piper will come out with all his rats that he is leading away from the town. We just saw the Pied Piper come out from the glockenspiel. So the first go around, you have the rats, because he's leading the rats out of the town. And then he goes around again, and he has the children, and then I think it's some parents, like they're being pulled or they're trying to follow the children, but they can't follow. I don't know. There's a lot of music in the background, but the chimes are just beautiful and they're loud. And I can imagine if you work here every day at like the bank across the street, it would probably be really annoying. But for me as a tourist, they're beautiful. And I'm like, oh, this is really pretty sound.
The thing I'm most looking forward to about the fairy tale route is that it's getting us into towns like this that we probably wouldn't have stopped at otherwise. Like, there's a good chance we would have stopped in Frankfurt eventually or Bremen or something like that because they're larger cities, but this is kind of off the beaten path for most tourists, and the fairy tale route sort of gives us the excuse to go and see smaller towns that maybe don't see as many tourists, and so you can kind of see a little bit more of an authentic side of Germany. So you get to see places that most people don't get to see, and a lot of these places are just as beautiful as more popular towns, and this is one of them.
Welcome to Cinderella's castle. Well, what remains of Cinderella's castle. This is a ruin here in Polle, and this is the castle that they claim that Cinderella lived in or inspired the Cinderella story.
I heard you two. What's up, man? You're not really gonna hoist him up here, are you? Chris, it's so steep.
It's alright, I got it. Oh, you're heavy. Go.
Common theme you're gonna hear us say over and over again in this video is that the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales are very different than the Disneyfied versions that I grew up with. I mean, the original stories are a lot darker, but the Cinderella story is relatively the same as Disney, slightly more graphically in the sense that, like, when the stepsisters try on the slipper in front of the prince to say that that was them at the ball, they end up cutting off part of their feet to squeeze into the slippers, and then later, like Cinderella's birds at the wedding reception, they like eat their eyes out so they're blind forever. So a little more graphic. This castle is, they say, what inspired the story. The Brothers Grimm built the story based around this castle. So I was reading that it was built in the 1600s, and I think that's about when Cinderella was supposed to take place. Maybe I'm wrong, I need to look that up. It's right here on the Weser River, and today we're kind of working our way through the Weser River Valley. Beautiful setting for a castle. Very small little town, but very, very quaint, very beautiful. And just being right on the river, there's people kayaking and rowing down it. There's people cycling in the distance. It's a beautiful day. You know, I could get used to a house with this view, so yeah, I could see a fairy tale being based here.
What do they have, Sarah?
Guess I'm this stepsister because my foot does not fit in it. My foot does not fit in that. Apparently Cinderella had dainty lady feet, at least 17th century size feet, which mine are not. I have very large feet for being very short. Remember, do not drink out of the slipper. Pretty, pretty princess. Come on, Kramer.
These ruins were a lot of fun. You can sit and try on Cinderella's shoe, see if it fits. It's not gonna fit.
The castle's cool because it's actually giving you the history of the castle, not like its association with the Cinderella story, because it really is a real castle. So the castle inside, what you pay for, that's the real history. And then you come out here and then you've got nice grass for the dogs to roll around. And then they have Cinderella's slipper.
It's €4 a person to get in. Very pleasant experience. You can go walk around the castle itself. Some people were just enjoying sunbathing in the chair, which I thought was funny.
Those chairs are comfortable. They are. They have like, they're kind of ergonomical, but they're wooden. They fit they curve your back and curve your legs. Very comfy.
All right, on to the next stop. Welcome to Rapunzel's Tower. So technically it's connected to this hotel, but when you come up, you can see Rapunzel's hair hanging from the top of the tower. Beautiful setting, and they have a restaurant here, so you can just kind of have a view of the valley, which is nice.
The Disney cartoon of Rapunzel, the Tangled movie, is my favorite Disney princess movie now. I don't know the Brothers Grimm version of Rapunzel like I do some of the other stories by them. I'm sure it's darker. I don't know how, but I love the tower. I think it's an interesting story. I think it's a fun story. I just think it's neat. It's another place I'm like, okay, I could see this inspiring a fairy tale. You can go up in the tower. We are opting not for going up in the tower just because we're seeing a lot of stuff in one day today, but it is really neat. I personally think the view of the tower is best as you're approaching the town, whereas when you get up here, yeah, it's really cool, but it's really pretty when you're driving up to it from, well, we came from, I guess, the north, but it kind of, the whole town sits on this hill, and it's really beautiful. The whole setting in this area is just beautiful. The rolling hills, perfect. We're at the end of summer right now, so things are green still. The tower just, it's, when you see it up on the hill, like we came around a corner and said, oh, there it is. Like it was just obviously, that's the Rapunzel Tower. It just has a nice presence about it. It's just, it looks like you would lock somebody up there and she would be stuck.
I want you to see just how short this entryway to get in here. You have to come across this bridge, and you kind of duck down, and there we go. Now, I am 5'11", 6 foot if I'm lying. That's a really tiny door. But this bridge is very nice. Hi, Sarah. Today has been the castle day of this road trip. You know, Rapunzel, Cinderella, and now we are at
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you on that. Cinderella's was neat because it was very much more of a ruins, and it was, you know, sort of use your imagination, imagine what it was like. But Sleeping Beauty's is a little bit more, there's more left of it, and they're actually renovating it right now. Apparently they've been renovating it for 2 years now, and it's still not done. It looks like it has a long ways to go, but they're renovating it to turn it into a hotel and restaurant. Apparently the state actually owns it, and so they're trying to attract more tourism here, and so they're just redoing it. But in the process, they've left the outdoor grounds open to visitors on the weekends and on holidays, and it's totally free to visit right now. Don't know what it's going to be like once they finish renovating it and it's officially a hotel and a restaurant, but for now it's free, and we're here on a Saturday, and it's really neat. I love the what would you call them? Silos. Somebody help me out with the word. But they go up on the corners. Even Cinderella's, all the castles we've seen today have had like some extent of like the round towers on the corners. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this. The vines on the building are starting to turn. It's September this weekend. You can just tell like everything's turning red and it's green. It's just a pretty time to be here right now. So lovely castle. It's very empty. We only had a couple other people when we were here, which is really nice.
If you've ever wanted to know where Sleeping Beauty sleeps, she's not slept. Well, she's not sleeping right now because they have a big sign on the front that says she's awake for the construction.
We just finished up in the Grimm Brothers Museum here in Kassel, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's pretty small, but it's very well done, and I think I learned a lot because pretty much all I know of the Brothers Grimm is the fairy tales, but what I learned a lot about in the museum is that they weren't just writers. In fact, I think they're in a lot of ways most famously known for their contributions to the German language. They were actually sort of a long story, but they were hired to make a German dictionary, and they're supposed to take 7 to 10 years to write the entire dictionary of the German language. And instead they got up to, I think one of the brothers, the last brother that died, got up to the letter F, and that was over 20 years since they had been hired. They put so much detail. They did Luther all the way up to like modern day when they did it. So it was like, what, 300 and something year span of like the entire German language. That's really fascinating to me. It was very well done. They had a copy of 5 of the original fairy tale books. They were behind very thick glass, and they had handwriting of the brothers, like notes in the margins and stuff. And the security guard, he was really cool. He actually came over and was talking to me a little bit about the different displays and all. And one of the things he said is that those 5 books were valued at $30 million. Which is crazy to me, but they're just so valuable because they have the handwriting of the brothers and they're original, and it was a very neat museum. They actually had a special exhibition upstairs of like comics and stories from around the world, including like original Disney illustrations from movies. So they had Snow White and they had original Mickey Mouse cartoons, and they had Garfield and Bugs Bunny and just like all these different things that were, you could see the original like animation sketch. It was €10 for an adult to get in, but highly worth it. I think if you're doing the fairy tale route, it's fun to learn about more than just the fairy tales. Learn about the Brothers Grimm because they were very intelligent men. We're in Alsfeld. It's Sunday, and Sunday in Germany, almost everything is closed, which was a little bit hard to get used to when we first got to the continent. Grocery stores, pharmacies, pretty much everything except for a select few like restaurants and bakeries and that kind of thing, pretty much everything's closed. You got to plan ahead, make sure you have enough groceries for Sunday, but it makes a lot of places like this pretty quiet. So it's a great time if you just want to get out and walk to explore a place. Sunday is a great time to do that. So we're going to get out, explore the main market area. This is Little Red Riding Hood's town, and also Hansel and Gretel. So we're going to go see the fairy tale house, which is sort of geared towards Hansel and Gretel. And I'm pretty certain it's in like the market, main center square in the historic district, which is where we are now.
This is by far the prettiest town on the fairy trail route that we have stopped at so far. There's a house over here that was built in 1305. It's the oldest timber house in town, and then you have this church behind me that Martin Luther stopped at, and it's just, there's so much character and detail in the buildings, and a lot of times it's really hard for us to convey this just walking around in a video. Like you look at the video, you're like, oh, that's a pretty building, but when you're here you can feel it, you can see it, and like just, I don't know, something about the texture on the buildings that you can, there's a lot of stories that have happened here. This town is known for Hansel and Gretel and a little bit of Red Riding Hood. I wasn't expecting it to be this picturesque and pretty, but it is. It really is.
Not many people really talked about this town,
no,
like online. And so like when I don't hear a lot about it online, I kind of expect it to be mediocre, but it's really beautiful.
This was a very pleasant surprise.
Beautiful, very quiet too. So nice.
All right, we need to come clean. The Black Forest isn't officially on the fairy tale route, but when you're chasing down German fairy tales and the actual Black Forest is right there, you go. This is where the stories live. This is the dark forest, the places where the kids get lost and the witches have houses made of gingerbread. And if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right.
Welcome to the Black Forest. We're in Germany's Black Forest, which is something, I guess a lot of us know. I grew up reading about it and it sounded so mysterious, and I was like, one day I'm going to go and I'm going to explore the Black Forest. And now we're here, and today we're hiking a little bit. Super easy trail, but I saw this place online. I don't even know how I came across it, actually. It's our first day at altitude in a while. But they're famous for blueberry pancakes. So you hike 3.5 miles up, 3.5 miles back, but halfway through the hike, when you get there, you get to buy delicious blueberry pancakes.
Hike is sort of a generous term. Yes, you're in the woods. Yes, you're in the trees and you're walking, you're hiking, but this path is fairly flat. In fact, there's a lot of people with strollers out here making their way to the blueberry trek, which is the only reason Sarah got me out here this morning.
Made it.
Thing we have an appetite.
What all did you get? This is the pancake. So Chris and I had an agreement when he went in that he was going to get 2 beers and 1 pancake. And then he came out with 2 beers, 1 pancake, and a plate of German, I forget the name of it, but it's just like a meat ravioli, and he's got sauerkraut with it. So we did not work that hard. We had an agreement, Chris. Oh well, you only live once. It's so huge. Okay, can we just eat it already?
Yeah.
Pretty good, Germany. good. I can't pronounce the name of it. We'll put it on the screen so I don't humiliate myself. But it's essentially a German ravioli. It's funny because like every country in the world, our friend Caroline pointed this out to us, every country in the world has their own form of dumpling. Like, you know, that's just, everybody has like their variation of it. And this, I guess, is Germany's. And there's a meat in it, and it's got a little bit of like veggies in with the meat. I'll be honest, it doesn't look all that appetizing, but it is really good. And I am not usually someone who loves a lot of meat. Like, I like meat, but not a ton. This is really good. And then they have caramelized onions on top, and oh my goodness. Come on, sit. It's not actually a pretzel. When I was in the pet store yesterday getting Kramer more dog food, they had these, and I thought, how often are you in Germany? Kramer needs a pretzel, right? I don't know what it's made of, but he is stoked about it. Would you please get off of me? Okay.
So the pancake itself doesn't really taste like a normal American pancake. It's not really fluffy. It tastes like a funnel cake, a less sweet funnel cake. Even the blueberry jam is less sweet. Sarah mentioned that, and I would agree. The actual cake, the pastry part, the bread part, it's just like a funnel cake. It's really thin, very good, very large. And then the dumplings, the meat inside the dumplings, they have some like a little like herbs and spices to it, not like KFC style, but you know, they're flavored very nicely. The noodles themselves were nothing to write home about. The meat though was very good, and the potato salad. If you come here, definitely get the pancakes. That's what everybody had. And then I mean, I would get this again. It's a nice sweet savory mix, but we both shared our meals, and I don't feel gross afterwards. Especially, you know, we've got 2 beers too, and we're ready to knock out the 3.5 miles back to the truck, I think. I'm ready for a nap, to be honest, but it's very good rest.
All right, I think Chris is actually wrong in how he described the pancake. Because, yes, it is like a funnel cake. Think funnel cake texture, but he said it's very thin. I didn't think it was very thin. I thought it was thick, but it did have a lot of air bubbles in it. So, unusual texture, definitely not the American style pancake where it's very bready, but I liked it. It was really good. It was like the perfect amount of sweetness. Like, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in a sugar coma now. I feel like it was sweet jam, and it was a little bit sweet of the pastry, or the actual pancake, but it was like the right amount. But I could go for a nap now. The sun just came out. It's 70 degrees. It is a perfect September day here in Germany. And people are just lounging in the grass and on their benches just in the sun. And I think we're going to do the same thing. And then we're going to walk the 3.5 miles back.
The Black Forest is very famous, infamous, if you will. They have Black Forest ham, Black Forest cake.
But it's not just the food that it's famous for.
No, apparently back in the day, you know, besides the whole fairy tales and all that, but back in the day, the Roman Empire, Romans were trying to navigate these woods, and it was so dense and so confusing for them, they couldn't figure it out. And so they named it the Black Forest.
True story. That's what we read. Maybe y'all have a different story. If you have a different story about why it's named the Black Forest, let us know. But it is very dense. I feel like the weather today is a little misleading. It's making it seem a little brighter than what it was when we first rolled in yesterday. And we camped nearby here last night. And it was really cloudy and really moody and really dark. And we were driving down the road. Why did we stop? Sorry. We keep walking. We were driving down the road and we were like, wow, these woods really are very dense. You can hardly see through them. But kind of Pacific Northwest-like in that it's very mossy, very evergreen. But today it's sunny and beautiful, so it doesn't have quite that daunting of an impression, but they're very beautiful nonetheless. This has been a good first experience in the Black Forest. I think we've both been really excited to get to the Black Forest so we can be back in nature and see hills and a little bit of altitude again. This is the perfect way to start. But now we're going to see a different side of the Black Forest. I'm kind of excited about this whole region because it seems like a little bit of culture, a little bit of nature, a little bit of relaxation. It's got a little bit of everything. So off to the next thing. Today we're doing the Black Forest Open Air Museum, and clearly we chose the perfect day to do an outdoor museum. it's pouring. But life goes on. It's supposed to rain for the next week straight, and so there's not really any delay. We're just going to go ahead and make the most of it in the rain. Let's go.
In the middle of the Black Forest, there's this open-air museum. Basically, they've taken actual farmhouses from all over the region, some from the early 1600s, some from the 1700s, and moved them here piece by piece. The roofs are these massive slope things designed to handle heavy snow. Inside, everything's wood, dark wood, the kind that soaks up light.
Just in case you were wondering, those were cowbells.
Kitchens with open hearths where the smoke just went up into the rafters, I guess. Bedrooms barely big enough for a bed. And when you walk through these houses, you get it. When the Brothers Grimm wrote about woodcutters who couldn't afford to feed their families, or kids getting sent into the forest, or people living on the edge of survival, this was that world. The Black Forest wasn't just scenery, it's where people worked, where they struggled, where they told stories to their kids about what happens if you wander too far from home.
The rain is coming down quite a bit stronger now. So I'm sure if it's not raining and sunny, this museum would be a lot more fun because it is beautiful and really interesting. But right now the rain has got us. The rain has made us seek cover.
And despite the heavy rain, we did spend an hour here just walking around looking at how people actually lived when these tales were being written down.
Throughout the museum, they actually have really good signage, and sometimes museums like this that are a little bit smaller don't have signage in anything but the primary language, the official language of the country. But they have it not just in German, but they have it in 4 languages. They have it in German, French, English, and Spanish. So if you speak one of those languages, you're in luck. Every single sign, you just turn the sign. Sometimes they're like books where you flip it, but sometimes they're blocks and they turn, you can read it in your language, which is really convenient. I think that's important to note because sometimes we show up and like we're Googling on our phones, like what am I looking at because they don't have signage in English, but this one's well taken care of.
It's really interesting walking inside some of these buildings, but it gets so dark. Like when you walk in here, like I'm bumping up the ISO on our camera just to see, and then even with the naked eye, it's really hard to see. And I assume that on a brighter day, you're able to see more details inside the buildings.
So excuse the footage from this section. There's going to be limited footage because the weather's really bad and we're trying to protect our camera, but also the lens keeps fogging up. So what we do get is just like, it's not good.
Yeah.
Don't take our lack of content from this area as lack of interest. It's interesting. We're just soaking wet.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm kind of disappointed that all the clocks are at different times because they're going off at different times. Really wish they would all go off on the same hour because it would be so chaotic. Welcome to the world's largest cuckoo clock. It is 2:56 p.m. We have 4 minutes until this thing goes off, until it cuckoos. That was, I don't know, for the world's largest cuckoo clock, I was expecting some fireworks and spectacles to happen, but that was a cuckoo clock.
You've seen the world's largest cuckoo clock now.
I don't know, I was expecting people to come out and dance or do something, and then it was just a bird that cuckoos. Oh well. I would, like, when you claim something as the world's biggest anything, I expect it to be spectacular.
That was amazing, Chris. Don't you knock it.
If you do go inside here, the clocks are very intricate and amazing, very pricey.
They aren't the most expensive I've seen. I was looking at one that's down the street, like a guy who's been hand making them for generations, and they start at $500 here, and I saw them go up to like at least $5,000.
Beautiful, beautiful clocks. All right, on to the next thing. On our way to see a waterfall. In this particular one, to go on this trail, you have to stop and get a ticket to see the waterfall, which is like $2.50. But apparently there's a bridge that you can walk across, and that's around 12 euros.
A lot taller than I thought it was going to be. I didn't expect this. It's a nice surprise. It's cool because we started at the top of it. So like where we camped last night is almost right next to the top of the waterfalls. So we're starting at the top and working our way down. But you get to cross the falls multiple times on the way down. So there's like little bridges. You get to go along the side of it. It's really pleasant. I mean, there's other people here, but it's not overly crowded. $2.50 is totally worth it, I think.
So at this waterfall, they have these benches that you can just lay down, stare up at the sky at the waterfall. I think Sarah has found her paradise.
But I just realized the people on the bridge are right above us. And if they drop anything, it's gonna hurt. Like if they drop a phone, whoa, what are you doing? No, get off me, you're Kramer.
It's gonna be a good day.
Why did you do that? No, gross. Okay,
Thank you, Bremen. Thank you. Come to this waterfall. It's beautiful.
It is. This is the part of Germany we really were wanting to see. I think it's like what everybody thinks of as Germany. Think of like Bavaria and then think like Black Forest. And there's more to Germany than that. But this is really beautiful. Like it kind of fits the pictures and the images you have in your head of what Germany is.
Sitting here, chasing a song. Don't know what to say. What if I get the words wrong? I've been here before, searching for the chords to call my own. There are so many so many years running down dreams, even caught some. What did they mean? They said life's what you make it, so maybe I should take it seriously.
So we're here in the Black Forest at kind of a funny time of year. Well, it's not really that funny, I guess, but it's fall or heading into fall. So we're mid-September and the leaves are just barely starting to turn. Like the weather can do just about anything. We could have a hard frost and be very cold tomorrow because we're kind of up in the mountains. We're only at like 3,500 feet of altitude, but still you could do just about anything then at this time of year. Like the weather could be anything. But right now it's a Saturday, mid-September, and it's that in between where there's still wildflowers out, but yet there's some trees that are starting to turn just a little bit gold, and I've seen a few maples that are already bright yellow higher up. So weather could do anything. Who knows? Fall is going to be absolutely beautiful in this area of the world, but if you travel in the shoulder season like we do a lot, just be prepared for anything. It was like 85 last week, and I think the high here today is like 55, so who knows what tomorrow will be.
We just finished up and had some nice lattes at Origin Coffee Stories. A nice little coffee shop here in town. And when you're walking, they have, what is this? Is it stream?
They have a name for them, but I've forgotten the name of it. Even if I knew it, I probably wouldn't pronounce it correctly. But they're known for having these little streams through the town, and when it's hot, people put their feet in it, or dogs lay in them. I guess that's not rude, because I saw other dogs doing it. Kramer's like full on. Okay, can we get out of the puddle now, buddy?
This town is very pleasant to be in. Sarah and I are both suckers for college towns, and this is a college town because they bring sort of life to it. There's new and exciting things happening, but it's also pretty small. It's on the smaller side, so it doesn't feel overwhelming like a huge, huge city. I would say that this is probably one of the first German cities that we've been to that we really, really like. Sarah went on a shopping spree.
That is really unfair, the way you said that.
What I was hoping was, just like the spur of a moment, a little hobby that would kind of putter out.
Like most of my hobbies, I'm one of those people who has a new hobby every 2 to 3 weeks. I go all in.
If you watch their Scotland series, you know that she started knitting. And so now every time we go to a city like this, she's got to stop at the yarn store.
Only when I need more yarn, which I do. And Chris, you said I went on a shopping spree. What you failed to mention is that all of this yarn is for you. Chris's birthday's in 2 weeks and I'm knitting him a sweater.
Wish me happy birthday. All right, let's go. The season's changed on you. So it's been a few weeks since we did the fairy tale route, but we ended up in this section of Germany/Austria, and we wanted to include this section into this video. So this is still in Germany, and technically you can drive and make it a part of the fairy tale route, because let's be real, the fairy tale route is whatever you dream it to be. But this place is pretty special.
Welcome to Neuschwanstein Castle. Am I saying that right? I think I am, but I'm still struggling. Now, this isn't officially part of the fairy tale route, but this is such a quintessential German stop that we felt it deserved to go in the fairy tale route video, because if you're like me and you're like a lot of people in the world, when you think of Germany, you think of Bavaria, and specifically this castle. It's incredible. I hope you can hear me. There's a cold front moving in today. All the leaves are blowing off the trees, and it's really windy. But this castle is beautiful. Something kind of sad about it is King Ludwig II commissioned this house to be built as his private escape. But it was not completed before he passed away in 1884. And then 7 years after his passing, they actually opened it up to the public. So it was never, to my understanding is that it was never lived in by a royal or anyone. It's just always been a castle. And if it looks new, it's because it is very new by castle standards in Germany. You keep waiting for a break with the wind and it's not coming. Look how pretty the leaves look going off. This view is incredible. So one other fact about this castle that I just learned is that during World War II, the Nazi regime actually used the castle to store some of their stolen art loot. Not a great use of the castle, but it is interesting that it was used for that purpose. I mean, I guess you put amazing art in an amazing castle, I guess they thought it fit, but today it is owned by the state of Bavaria, and you can come and you can tour it. We are not going to go inside today, it is sold out, but it's beautiful. Just know if you're going to come here, it's very busy. I mean, we are in the off season right now and it is still sold out. There are tons of people. Not everybody's even going inside. It's people like us who are just wanting to get a good view of it. Now, if you want to see a more historic castle, King Ludwig II, who commissioned this castle, his childhood home is just across like the ravine, the valley. You can see it from here. That castle is open to tour too. It's less expensive and it's really magical looking too. Not as epic as this one. I mean, this is like what Walt Disney used to model the fairy tale castles, like Cinderella's castle in Disney World after. I mean, you know, you see on a Disney cartoon, the opening credits where it has like the little blue like star going through the castle. Like this is what it was modeled after. And you see it. Like it just has that fairy tale presence about it. So even though it was never lived in by a royal, it is epic, and it's just right here on the edge of the Alps. You look out and you see Bavaria, and behind it, we're very close to Austria. Just, it is a stunning setting. I mean, if I was going to commission a castle, probably would have been right here too.
A little windy.
Little busy.